Welcome back, viewers and subscribers. It's your girl, Star Flames, and we're back with another video. In this video, guys, we're going to talk about Wendy Williams changing the face of conservatorship. Wendy has made some very monumental mark in her conservatorship and in her journey to become freed from this luxury prison. So far, she scored a major victory on that, wherein she could choose her own living facility. And that means if she wanted to get a condo, she could have done so. However, she still has a problem. She's still in the conservatorship, and Sabrina Marissi is still at the helm of that conservatorship. And you guys know Sabrina has been hella shady, or should we rather say witchy, because what Sabrina has done, you see, is she told the world Wendy was totally incapacitated, and Wendy's attorney saying absolutely not, because Wendy can drive and operate her scooter with ease. She remembers people. She can have full-length conversations, and as such, that's not being totally incapacitated. However, Sabrina Marissi begs to differ. As a matter of fact, she's saying, yes, you could still be totally incapacitated and be able to do all of those things. And we know that's not true. Also, most recently, Wendy Williams cooked up a plan with her niece, Alex Finney, wherein she called for a emergency checkup, basically asking the police to escort her to the hospital. They didn't want her to leave the living facility because Sabrina Marissi wants to have dominion over Wendy. However, Wendy insists that she's taken to the hospital and she underwent a evaluation test on her mental capacity. And on that test, she scored a perfect 10 out of 10. However, despite that, it's still not over for Wendy, even though that's a test that has given her some freedom to date. Now, what many people can see is that Sabrina Marissi has been playing mind games with Wendy. For example, most recently, Wendy was given 2 days to visit her father. It was his 94th birthday. As you guys can remember, Wendy was nervous. She was emotional about the possibility of them not allowing her to see her dad. However, they granted her 2 days only, irrespective of the fact that they've told us that Wendy is free to go about as she pleases. She was given 2 days. Does that sound like someone who has autonomy over their freedom, their life, their whereabouts, their goings and comings? Absolutely not. And not only did Sabrina Marissi limit Wendy's visit to her dad to 2 days, guess what else she did? Well, you see, Wendy has some really good money, but irrespective of that, the money keeps disappearing. And in one of the disappearing acts of Wendy's money, Sabrina Marissi gave Wendy what should be a credit or debit card. Should have been preloaded. However, when Wendy was there visiting her dad on her birthday, she could not pay for anything because there was no money on the card. Then she said, maybe it's just this little restaurant. Let's go somewhere. You know, Wendy loves to dip and do. So she went to pick up a few little things and card decline. So what we know is that so far, it seems as though this is how Sabrina Marissi has been allegedly swindling Wendy's money while making her look crazy, because we believe that there's a play in all of this. And here's the play. She's going to say money was loaded on that card. And see, I'm telling you, this woman is crazy because the money was there. And if she wasn't able to spend the money, it means that she went to a bar. She had too much to drink. She got drunk, or she bought drugs. This is the mind games that Sabrina Marissi has been playing with Wendy. However, this time around, The court of public opinion, they're saying not, you woman. Her family, they're saying absolutely not. So as such, we're all documenting all the mind games that Sabrina Marissi, her conservator, her guardian, has been playing with her. Now, Wendy has a legal team, a new legal team, and she's pushing forward to get a grand jury trial. And we're going to dive into this report from page 6 because guess what? The court documents, it has been hidden from the court of public opinion. When they hide court documents like these from you and I, they want us to believe that we're just protecting Wendy. But so far, have we really seen anyone really and truly protecting Wendy Williams? Absolutely not. Everyone has been doing everything for their own personal gain. So much so that at one point, Wendy had to say, "Judge, get your foot out of my neck. You people do not look like me. You don't sound like me. You don't talk like me. Get your foot out of my neck," okay? So Wendy has been doing really well fighting for herself with the help and support of her niece Alex Finney. And let us not forget Charlemagne the God, because he played a pivotal role in bringing this out to the public. So kudos to him on that one. Now, let's get into this report. As I've said, from page 6, we're going to dissect it. We're going to go into it. We're going to break down everything paragraph by paragraph, okay? Now, page 6 is saying, the Daily Mail, Wendy Williams, 60, is making a bold new move to get out of her guardianship. Wendy Williams is getting a new legal team to take on her guardian in an effort to secure her freedom from her conservatorship. Sabrina Marissi was assigned to Wendy when Wells Fargo suggested a guardian be put in place after the bank noticed some suspicious charges on her accounts. The bank froze her accounts and sent a letter to the courts suggesting she put in a conservatorship to protect her from undue influence and financial exploitation. Marissi was then appointed by the court. Now, Wendy, 60, has been in guardianship that she says she does not need for 3 years and isn't happy that Marissi has considerable power with judges and conservatorships in New York. They're also pushing to implement a law, guys, in New York that will govern and change how conservatorships are being handled. Because one red flag in Wendy's conservatorship is the fact that she doesn't have a family member involved in it. So while there are good things in Wendy's conservatorship, for example, Wendy is able to fight, get her lawyer, she's able to lobby for herself. Britney Spears didn't have this much freedom. She was controlled. She was cornered at every move. But Wendy does have some difference in her conservatorship, and that is because of her persistence and willingness to fight for her freedom, coupled with the people who she's connected with in the industry. So there's some difference there. Now they're saying Williams currently lives on lockdown at the Kateri Assisted Living Facility at Hudson Yards. Sources close to Williams, she is not allowed to have any electronics, so she cannot call anyone, get emails, or do anything to get in touch with someone on the outside. We know that the last time that has changed because the judge was threatening her. The judge had warned and threatened her that she was going to take away all electronic devices. And then there's an advocate that deals with conservatorship that came into play and say, no, this is not how you handle it. So she also has an advocate advocating for her. Now, the report further states They say she's incapacitated. That usually means someone who is a vegetable or unaware of their surroundings and unable to communicate, said Ginalisa Monterroso, the CEO and founder of Connect Care Advisory Group. Monterroso began working with Williams in December with the encouragement of their mutual friend, Charlemagne the God. That's not Wendy. Even just look at her. Operator scooter. Can an incapacitated person do that? I would not be advocating publicly on behalf of Wendy if I felt she had any cognitive issues or that she belongs in a memory unit, Monterroso said. So she says she also shares the grim reality that if Wendy doesn't get a new legal term, she will spend the rest of her life sitting in her room alone all day with nothing to do. And guys, just my insert here, that is where she will become mentally incapacitated because she's going to be locked away from the world. Not having any electronics, no method, no means of communication. She will be treated worse than a prisoner. If you guys remember, I did a video about Joe Tacopina because he was asked to take Wendy's case. And when Harvey from TMZ went through some of the details, Joe said yes. He watched the documentary. He has been observing everything, and he has seen criminals, people who has gone to prison for murder, with more freedom than Wendy Williams has. So he's saying that the entire situation is being handled unfairly. They're being brutal. They're being harsh and horrible to her. But it's still somewhat questionable as to why he hasn't taken the case, because I thought he would have taken the case by now. I don't know what happened there, but there's a new legal team, but that is still good because so far the new legal team has been getting results and have been really, really fighting hard for Wendy. Now, let us continue. They're saying she's just stuck in what she calls a luxury prison. There's been no plan but put in place for her. No paperwork, no hearing. There was no strategy or help lineup for her at all. Monterroso added. Monterroso has spent 25 years in the elder care field and speaks to Williams nearly every day. She also sent a letter on Wendy's behalf to Adult Protective Services in New York. Now, we saw Wendy rolling around town on her scooter, and she was flashy. She was just so happy to have some freedom. And she was like, I'm going to have dinner, like I'm going out. You know, she was so ecstatic, and we love to see that for Wendy. We love that for Wendy. Now, in the report, they further states, in order to move forward with Wendy's case, she will have to get a neurological exam. Monterroso believes that Wendy's cognitive issue came from alcohol, which can be reversible at least in part. A doctor in Florida first examined her in 2019, and his diagnosis was alcohol-related dementia, Monterroso told the outlet, noting that there may be other issues. Now, let's pause there a bit because, I honestly believe that Wendy Williams was not properly diagnosed. I'm not saying that it is impossible for alcohol to induce dementia, but I'm just saying I believe that what Wendy was also going through was the fact that she had lost her marriage. You know, her husband betrayed her, and then this young lady was spending her money riding around town. I think that really took a mental toll on Wendy, because I know people who drinks, and they drink a lot more than Wendy, and I can tell you, I know people who drink a lot more than Wendy. Some people have been on alcohol basically every single day of their adult life, getting drunk first thing in the morning. They go to work drunk, function drunk, get back home, go to bed drunk. And they haven't been diagnosed with alcohol-induced dementia. Now, I'm not saying that the media outlets are lying or the doctor is lying, but I think that much care and attention was not given into the assessment because maybe at that time she was so depressed, she was so stressed that they were like, okay, this is what that looks like. Also, too, as a reminder, Wendy has thyroid disease, Graves' disease to be specific, and it causes a lot of brain fogs. And when that is coupled with, severe stress and depression, it can actually make that worse. So I do believe that there was some misdiagnosis there. And I also believe that as her, advocate is saying, this is something that can be reversed. I also believe that. But let us continue, right? They're saying she also had serious thyroid issues since her 30s, and there's such a thing as thyroid-related dementia. She also has Graves' disease, which is why her eyes sometimes bulge, Monterroso explained. When her eyes bulge, because of Graves' disease as well, when her eyes bulge like that, especially if she's in the living facility care, it means that she's not getting the proper treatment. Because when you get the proper treatment, and I can tell you this personally, from my personal experience, there was a point in time where my eyes used to bulge and people were like, why are you staring at me like that? People would think that you're just literally staring at them like you're frightened or something. However, the moment that I started spending all of my earnings on seeing endocrinologists, dermatologists, and you have to see like gut specialists, you have to see a lot of specialists when you have Graves' disease. And the moment that you start seeing those people and you see them regularly, you do your blood test and they see what's your T3, T4 levels, and they know how to proceed with your medication. But you also, the individual, you have to do stuff to help yourself, because sometimes there are things that, you might be telling them that you're feeling, and oftentimes they're telling you, oh, it's because of the Graves' disease. Once you get that under control, this problem will go away, that problem will go away. And honey, sometimes you have to get down to work. You have to watch some TikTok videos, watch some biohackers who recommends some alternative stuff, some supplements. So you're going to have to get your mushroom, you're going to have to get your iodine, you're going to have to see what works for you, because it is something that's very, very challenging to manage. And no matter how wealthy you are, at times there are things that just, even when you're seeing everyone consistently, there are times when things just falls out of place because it just takes a quick second or a quick day or two from your last visit for things to change. Your medication can be adjusted to a dose that your body's not accustomed to, and you can have some adverse reaction to that. Whether it could be hives, it could be cognitive in the sense that you cannot sleep, you feel exhausted, or it could be that you're in a sleep psychosis, I think it's called. I'm not sure. Someone can correct me on that. Wherein you just want to sleep. You'll sleep consistently. You may get up to use the bathroom, eat something, but then go immediately back to sleep. So I'm just saying this from experience that Graves' disease can do a lot to an individual. And as such, it is possible that she was misdiagnosed with dementia. I'm just saying, right? It could be something else that's going on there, because with Graves' disease, it also has like some chemical imbalance in the brain, and it's not dementia. It could be other things that is affecting the pituitary gland and all of this. I'm just talking from personal experience, I'm just saying, okay? Now, they're saying whatever it is, a guardianship is supposed to be for someone who doesn't know to put on a coat in winter, or doesn't remember to pay bills, or wanders out and doesn't know where they are, she continued. So this is what her advocate Monterroso is saying, and that is so factual. That's when a guardian comes in. I think what they should have done is to provide Wendy with an assistant. The assistant manages finances, orders the groceries, orders the cook, pay the bills, pay the cleaners. I think that is what Wendy needed. And then, get someone in the home, someone of medical background, like a nurse, a RN nurse, to just monitor her. Maybe two, one that works in the day and another that works in the night, if they think that because I think when you put people in these living facilities, it also causes their health to decline. Because with Wendy going through such mental duress, it can definitely ruin her. Now, so the advocate further states that that's not Wendy. She's saying that's not Wendy. So when you put an alcoholic in memory care unit and throw away the keys, Monterroso said Williams does not want to drink again and intends to fight for her sobriety if she is able to get out of her guardianship. Diane Demond, author of We're Here to Help, When Guardianship Goes Wrong, told the Post that she feels Wendy has a good chance of winning her case if she gets the right legal team in place. I do believe so as well. Now they're saying Wendy Williams clearly doesn't have aphasia, Demond told the outlet. No one is believing she does, and I'm so happy that more people are convinced she doesn't. Now, the report further states if she gets a good litigation team in place, she stands a very good chance of following in Britney Spears' footsteps, getting out from under this guardianship. You want litigators, not elder care lawyers. That's what I tell everyone. You go in on a civil right issue. There's a growing problem of people winding up in these situations, but thankfully there's sometimes a way out. Last week, Williams, while dining out with friends for lunch, told Page 6, I am fabulous and better than good, but have been accused of being otherwise. I'm very much alive. I deserve freedom, darling. Love that for her. When the reporter commented on her fit form, Williams responded, I got the liposuction and breast implant when I was 31. I'm 60 now, and my body is holding up well. Of course it is, Wendy. You go, girl. However, she was a bit shy about answering more questions about her plans to regain control of her life, referring to them to her advocate Ginalisa Monterroso, who told the outlet, don't believe everything you read. So the reason why Wendy is a bit hesitant to answer the question is because the judge has been coming at her so hard whenever she speaks about the guardian. So she doesn't even mention Sabrina Mercy's name. She's like the woman at this thing. So she talks about Sabrina Mercy because the judge has been threatening her and all of that jazz, and Wendy really despised Sabrina as well, so she's not giving her name any power or attention. Wendy is just focusing on herself and getting out of that mess, and I definitely support her on that. Now they're saying she will be in a private condo now. She will have so I know that I was correct about that. She was awarded the option to choose her living condition. So she's in a condo now. She has much more freedom to come and go as she please. She'll be able to have visitors and she'll be free to leave when she wants, an insider told The Sun. You go, Wendy. I'm so happy for her. I couldn't be more happier. Everyone deserves your freedom, but I do hope that Sabrina doesn't cook up anything else to lie in her, and if she does, she gets exposed for it and is also held accountable. But guys, that's it on our girl Wendy. Wendy is moving closer to freedom. So leave a comment below. What's your take? While you're at it, thumbs up, share, subscribe, and we're going to talk some more about our girl Wendy in the comment section. Peace.